Hope we're doing well. Football is back. Huddersfield Town taking on Burnley this evening. I'm really looking forward to it. The football being back, that is not necessarily that match. Although, it'd be interesting to see how Burnley get on with Vincent Kompany in charge, Josh Cullen in the Championship as well. But I'm really looking forward to enjoying this weekend as a neutral. Of course, West Ham have got our final friendly of pre-season as well, don't we? Be interesting to see what sort of team Moyes puts out. We'll get a little bit of an insight into his thinking ahead of the Man City game next weekend. And of course, will we see Gianluca Scamacca? I imagine he'll get some minutes tomorrow afternoon for the first time in a West Ham United shirt. So that'll be exciting, won't it? Anyway, welcome to the West Ham Transfer Rumour Show. Coming up tonight, we'll be taking a look at the current rumours. A little bit of an update on the likes of Kostic. We've got some old transfer rumours back again. So players we were linked to previously in this transfer window is once again being linked to the Hammers. But we've also got some new names and players we've never discussed before on this channel. So we've got a wide variety this evening. It's a pick and mix that even Woolworths would be proud of. So we'll kick it off though with Filip Kostic, because today is Kostic negotiation day. Earlier on in the week, we were told this a few days ago that the agent of Kostic, who's also the agent of Scamacca, who is Alessandro Lucci, he is over in Germany to meet with Kostic just to gauge his interest and to see if he actually wants to come to West Ham United or not. So West Ham will certainly get a little bit of clarity later on today, tomorrow, if Kostic is a realistic target or not for luring the player to the London Stadium, essentially. But he is West Ham's main target. That's the reports today, that Kostic is West Ham's number one target over the next few days to try and get him in. And essentially they're looking at doubling the wages he's on at Frankfurt to lure him to West Ham United. And isn't that funny how football works? Last week we missed out on a player. We're offering a player European football and reasonably competitive wages for a Premier League side. He rejected us to go and earn more money at another club. Fine. But here we are trying to lure a player to West Ham by offering them more money than he's getting at his current club. Football's just works in funny ways sometimes, doesn't it? But that is the stumbling block for West Ham, because Kostic at the minute has Champions League football at Frankfurt, but he also has 1 year to go on his contract, which means next summer he can walk out of Frankfurt on a free if he wishes, and then join someone else and have a real lucrative move ahead, because obviously the club won't pay a transfer fee. So West Ham have got a little bit of persuading to do, but we should have a little bit more clarity later on. Reports earlier this week that we had our initial bid for Kostic rejected. They're looking for 20 million euros, about 17 million pounds. Now that's not necessarily 17 million. There you go. I imagine the clubs aren't too far apart. I expect a fee to be agreed. It's just a case of can we lure Kostic. But saying that, I'm also a bit surprised that Frankfurt's even dealing with West Ham because of the palaver they had trying to get money out of us for Sebastian Haller a couple of years ago or a year ago. So we'll wait and see on this one, but we should hear more later tonight going into the weekend as well. And I wouldn't be surprised if Kostic was a West Ham United player before the Manchester City game. I think Frankfurt have got a cup game on Monday as well, so that'll be interesting to see if he participates in that one or not. Now moving on to Zielinski of Napoli. That one is off. So while Kostic is very much on, Zielinski is off. We're just too far apart. Napoli are just wanting too much money, a lot more than West Ham are prepared to pay. By the sounds of it, we're sort of cooling our interest in him and moving on. Now, I'm not gutted because I wasn't particularly keen on him for that price tag. 28 years old, there's not much resale value there. And I'm not saying he's going to be rubbish or anything. 28 is a fine age. You've got 5 years of him. But I don't know. I just thought buying Kostic and Zielinski was a little bit risky. But I'm just not that impressed by Zielinski either. I think he's a lovely footballer, but that's all. And not £40 million worth. I think there's better players out there for that price, although I've only seen him a limited amount of times. But statistically, it backs me up. Now, I know not everybody likes statistics. I was speaking to someone earlier today. I was speaking to Stel from West Ham Boys. Really good channel. Go check out. You haven't done it already. And he was saying to me, because he likes his stats, and he was saying, I like the fact that you do stats and stuff. So this little 20-second speech is inspired by Stel. So this is Zielinski's sort of numbers against attacking midfielders and wingers across the top 5 leagues in European football. So it's done as percentiles. So this is how he compares. So as you can see, his passes, he's very, very good. His creativity is fine. Defensively, not the best, but it's not the worst either. It looks average, doesn't it, right? But Zielinski can also play centre midfield. So that's him sort of as a number 10. Now we're going to have a look at his numbers as a number 8, a little bit deeper. And here's his numbers playing that sort of number 8 deeper role. And as you can see, the creative side of it is off the charts. 96th percentile for non-penalty goals. The 97th for shot creating actions. Really, really good. His passing is strong as well. But look at that bottom category. You just can't ignore that. That's the defensive side of his game. The first percentile for tackles, interception and clearances. You can't play like that and play under West Ham United when David Moyes is here. Now, I know a lot of people are going to say, but stats aren't everything. And I agree, but I think they're, at worst, indicators and a little bit of an insight into a player. The insight I'm getting into him is he just wouldn't fit playing centre midfield under West Ham. Maybe we're bringing him in to play that number 10 role further ahead, but I'm not gutted that West Ham have cooled the interest as reports go by. But it'll be interesting to see if we reunite our interest in Amadou Onana. We've been linked to that Lille centre midfielder for quite a while now. I mean, speaking of quite a while, it's over 2 weeks ago since we put in our third bid of $32.5 million. And we've not heard back. It's not been accepted nor rejected. Now, reports in the last week have been a bit contradictory whether it's Onana or Zielinski, or that we could actually get both. Now, I'm reluctant to believe that we were going to get both, because that would be about a £70 million outlay. It's quite expensive. I've always felt it would be one or the other, and if that's the case, I would maybe expect to see West Ham's interest in Onana ramped up a little bit over the coming days. Maybe we'll go back in with a fourth bid or something. But the update at the minute on Amadou Onana, there isn't one, good nor bad. There just isn't anything. We've not heard anything at all. I think that'll change in the next few days, though. Now, moving on to some players that we've not discussed yet during the summer transfer window. But before we do that, this video is sponsored by the OneFootball app, and there's no better time to get downloaded. The football is back. Championship back tonight. We've got League 1 and League 2 action coming up over the weekend as well. And while all that's going on, so is a transfer window. Your club will be on that app. Keep up to date with all the latest transfer rumours and news around your club. All the injury concerns ahead of Premier League kicking off next weekend. But while you're out and about this weekend and you fancy knowing what's going on in the Championship or the lower leagues, check out the OneFootball app. Get it loaded up on your phone. Go on there. You can check out all the latest scores, all the results as they're coming in, as well as a little statistical outlook into each game and each player involved in that match as well. The OneFootball app is the fantastic app for the football fan, and it's completely free. Get it downloaded via a link in the description so they know you come from Hammers Chat. Once again, massive thank you to OneFootball for sponsoring Hammers Chat. Now, Mason Holgate, we've all heard of him, the Everton centre-back. He's been linked to West Ham United. No rumoured price tag attached. The reports are that West Ham have inquired into the availability of Mason Holgate. Now, this is one of these players that will have a solid Premier League career, but I don't know if he'll ever be good enough to play for one of those clubs contesting for European football. I mean, this is going back a little bit now, but I was really impressed by him under Duncan Ferguson's short tenure as caretaker manager of Everton. He played defensive midfielder, centre-back, whatever. I thought he was brilliant for him. He's one of those players, when he first sort of came onto the scene, looked like he was going to go on and become a top centre-back. It's just not quite happened yet for whatever reason. But I guess the question is, are we looking for somebody good enough to come in our centre-back pairing and stay there? Or are we looking for somebody that can just sort of cover a little bit while we have a bit of an issue at centre-back, which I think we'll get a little bit more clarity on tomorrow during the friendly. And should we only have one senior, even two senior centre-backs playing, I'd imagine the centre-backs being linked to West Ham is going to get ramped up. We've got a few to get through today as well. Holgate's just the first one. But it'll be interesting to see what the situation is with Dawson and Diop. We know Aguero's out for a while now. Bamba has been carefully managed. A little bit of pressure to get him fit for Man City. Zuma will be fit for Man City, but how fit? Hobbling really badly against Luton. So West Ham being linked to centre-backs is something we're going to have to get used to in the next couple of weeks. As for Holgate, I wouldn't be against seeing him at West Ham. It depends purely on the price tag. I think a loan move, if possible, would be a clever thing for us to do. Obviously, it ticks that homegrown box as well. But I would have reservations about him being a long-term sort of replacement for Ogbonna or Dawson. But they're saying that Dawson's worked out under David Moyes, and Holgate's got similar sort of attributes or sort of way of playing, if you like, that Craig Dawson does. So it's not one that I would be against, but it's not somebody that I'm excited by or anything like that. Now, next up is Abdou Diallo of PSG, the French club, looking for €70 million for their left-sided centre-back, who can also cover left-back. Now, while that might mean this transfer rumour makes sense, it's also why this transfer rumour worries me a little bit because he's very adequate left-sided centre-back, but he's also an adequate left-back. And I just hope that this isn't us potentially looking to kill two birds with one stone here. Because of all the transfer rumours earlier on the show and later on between now and the video finishing, there's no left-backs to be discussed. We're not being linked to any. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean we're not after any, but given that the players we've signed so far, bar Flynn Downs, we've known about them. We know the Kostic bit we knew about Gianluca Scamacca for ages. The Breuer stuff we've known about. Flynn Downs we knew about eventually, but quite late on. And Aguero we knew about for ages as well. But there's no left back talk, and I just worry a little bit that somebody like Diallo just makes sense to bring in for a relatively decent fee. 15 million is a good price range, I think, to bring in cover. And a good age at 26 years old, can play centre back while we have a little bit of a shortage there, but can also cover left back should we need him, should Creswell and or Masuaku be out of form. And that's why it concerns me a little bit. Now, I've not seen him at PSG, so I can't comment how he's got on over the last 2 or 3 seasons. So if you have, do get involved in the comments and let me know. But certainly when he was at Dortmund, he had a really good partnership playing with and or Akanji or Weigl before he moved to Benfica. Very, very good centre-back over in the Bundesliga. Played quite well left-back. But I often felt, I mean, this is going back a few years now, but I often felt that when he played left-back, they were just lacking that attacking threat from the left-back area. It's a bit like Nathan Ake at Manchester City. Can he play left-back? Yes. Is he a good left-back? Yes. But do you notice a difference between Nathan Ake playing compared to Cancelo or Zinchenko? Yes, you do, because that attacking threat just isn't there. And that's what would worry me a little bit with Diallo. But if you've seen him more recently at PSG, because I haven't seen him since he moved there. I mean, he moved for big money, about 30 million he moved for. Get involved in the comments below. I look forward to reading them. Now, next up, we've got Maxwell Cornet of Burnley. Now, good news. He's not involved tonight. He's not going to be in the Burnley squad tonight because he's expected to leave. And Everton have just signed Dwight McNeil. So that would surely mean it's unlikely they're going to go after Cornet as well, because they've also just signed that left back or left wing back, depends how they play, Vinagre, who used to play for Wolverhampton Wanderers as well. So they've just signed 2 left-sided players in the last 2-3 days. Do they need Cornet too? I'm unsure. But he's certainly been linked to West Ham. Some reports suggesting that it's Kostic as well as Cornet, but others suggesting it's Kostic with Cornet being the backup. Other reports suggest that West Ham are in negotiations with Burnley. We know he has a £17.5 million release clause. However, if you activate that, you've got to pay it. But you want to do it over instalments, so on and so forth. There's a little bit of wiggle room there. So I'd imagine West Ham might be looking to pay a little bit more than the £17.5 million. But in return, they get to pay it in instalments, potential clauses as well, rather than just paying it all up front. So I think there's more to come in the Maxwell Cornet rumour. We've also got Jarrod Bowen linked to Arsenal. I'm not even going to bother discussing it too much. It's a transfer rumour that's out there. I don't believe it in the slightest. It doesn't make sense from an Arsenal perspective, the price tag perspective, and I would argue Jarrod Bowen perspective. He is on the plane to Qatar at the minute. He will be going in that England squad. Should he go to Arsenal and find himself on the bench behind Saka, which is realistic, he's going to lose his spot in the World Cup. It just makes no sense, this rumour. So we shall continue. Emmanuel Dennis, we've been linked to him once more, along with Nottingham Forest, believe it or not, which, I mean, he's going to go somewhere, isn't he? Him and or Sarr are going to leave. I wouldn't be surprised if, give it a couple of weeks now, we're into mid-August, I wouldn't be surprised if Dennis and Sarr are still at Watford, that clubs start trying to get them on loan and paying 4 or 5 million to get them on loan for the season. Then obviously if Watford get promoted, they get their player back in the Premier League. So I think there's a lot more to go with these transfer rumours to the Watford players. We're not being linked to Sarr at the minute, just Dennis, but I'm just making a prediction here that I think I wouldn't be surprised if at least one of them goes out on loan this summer, because, well, Watford are running hefty fees, aren't they? 20-25 million for each player. Understandably so, but clubs are seemingly a little bit reluctant to pay it at the minute. We're being linked once again to Nikola Milenkovic. We're linked to him strongly last summer before signing Kurt Zouma instead. So we were always going to be linked to him. It's one of them, we'll just have to wait and see. But we've certainly been interested and done our scouting on him as well and went for Kurt Zouma for whatever reason. So whether or not we go after him or not, and I think this is where the club's got to make a big decision here. What are we looking for in regards to centre-back? Are we looking for short-term cover, so a loan spell, or maybe a punt from the Championship or something? Or are we looking for a long-term replacement for Ogbonna or Dawson already? Both players only have a year to go on their contracts. They're out of contract as it stands next summer. They may have a further year or two. We'll wait and see. But as it stands, at least one of them will probably need replaced next summer. So are we going to go in now and replace them now, spend big bucks on a centre-back and really have huge players playing centre-back for West Ham, or are we just going to lessen the targets a little bit and just bring in cover? I imagine it'll be the latter, but we'll wait and see. Another player being linked to that I don't believe at all is Bamba Dieng, the Marseille striker. We've been linked to him previously. I'd be very, very surprised if we were in the market for a striker. Amadou, by the way, has been linked to Real Madrid today. I've seen that they're supposedly wanting the Chelsea striker. Now we've got another striker, but this one I'm not as dismissive of this one, believe it or not, despite what I've just said. And that's Amine Gouiri. Now I don't know who he is. He plays for Nice and 22 years old, 10 goals in 38 games in the league last season. I had a little look at his numbers. Don't worry, I'm not going to bring them up on the screen. That was just a Zielinski special. But played centre forward mainly, but can also play on the left as well. But highly sought after by the sounds of it. Nice very reluctant to let him go. That's what the reports are, that West Ham are interested in him. But Nice are saying, nope, you're not going anywhere. But I'll tell you what, a player that's 22 years of age scoring 10 goals, playing in the top division in France week in, week out, that's appealing without even watching the player. So again, I'm appealing to you. If you've seen this player, please let me know in the comments below. Now we're going to wrap this show up with a little bit of a funny story, because in the last few days I'd seen that West Ham were perhaps going to reignite their interest in Jordan Torunarigha of Hertha Berlin. I can tell you 100% that that's not happening, because he's already moved the club. He just joined Ghent a week ago, but I just thought it was quite funny actually. So we've seen us being linked to Torunarigha of Berlin. Just laugh, because it's completely made up. We won't be buying him. He has literally moved club. We were interested in him. We were linked to him quite strongly before his move, but the move is now being finalised. He's gone. He's over in Belgium next season. Fact. Anyway, if you've enjoyed this West Ham transfer rumour show, please drop a like on and subscribe if you're new to the channel. We are obviously got our final friendly over in France tomorrow, so we'll be covering that as always. We'll have our live build-up show half an hour before kick-off. Then we'll have a watch-along if there is streams available. And then we'll have our review immediately after it. Then obviously next week, we're building up to the Man City game. We'll have our season preview. We'll have our opposition preview. Our Man City match preview. And on Monday, we've got a big patron offer. So please do come back on Monday. Hear us out. And hopefully we can twist your arm into giving Patreon a little bit of a go next season. Anyway, I'm going to disappear now. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy the football. I'll catch you in a bit.